This is Sister Rebecca, aka Holly Hood, and today I'm going to talk about America and its sickness. And the title of today's video is America is Sick. So, most Americans like to believe that the United States is the good guy and that America is a good and moral nation. But is that the truth? Or is America plagued by an evil and wickedness that is so deep and so pervasive that most of us would rather live in denial rather than face the true horror? Now, I'm going to give you a list of some reasons why I believe America is unspeakably evil. America is completely addicted to pornography. The United States is the world's biggest producer of pornography, and Americans are more addicted to it than ever before. Did you know that 89% of all porn is created in the U.S.? 2.84 billion in revenue was generated from the U.S. porn sites in 2006. $89 is spent on porn every single second of the day, and 260 new porn sites go online every single day. Porn revenue is larger than all of the combined revenues of professional football, baseball, and basketball franchises. 25% of total search engine requests are porn related, and more than 70% of men from 18 to 34 visit a pornographic site in a typical month. In fact, a recent survey revealed that Americans are so enslaved to pornography that 25% of American employees who have internet access visit porn sites while they're at work. Instead of doing whatever your boss is paying you to do, you're on a porn site? Really? America has slaughtered over 40 million babies through abortion. Since 1973, well over 40 million innocent babies have been slaughtered in the abortion mills here in America. American doctors have dissected them, burned them alive, sucked their brains out, and yet the American people seem to care less about this issue than ever. Now, a lot of people know about Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger, but did you know that Bill Gates' father was one of the co-founders of Planned Parenthood? Think about that for a second. Scientists are now creating abominations of nature, including fluorescent cats, spider goats, and human pig hybrids. And this is the truth. It's not. These pictures are not manipulated. They're not photoshopped. It's real people. Thanks to advances in genetic modification, bizarre cross species are not just found in science fiction novels anymore. All of the creatures that I've mentioned and other incredibly weird creatures have actually been created by scientists. America is now tolerating gay marriage. Maine has become the 5th state to legalize gay marriage. Actually, several other states have also made it legal and are considering making it legal. Recent polls have revealed a rising trend of support for gay marriage in America. Now almost half of all Americans are in favor of gay marriage, and among young adults, recent polls indicate that there is overwhelming support for gay marriage. It now seems that those who speak out of it for morality are those who will be persecuted. I cannot tell you how many times I have been cursed out for my video, The Illuminati Gay Agenda, in my talk about the gay hip-hop. And even though I reaffirm in the video again and again that I am not against homosexuals, I am against it being taught in our school system, and I am against the lifestyle. And you can be, it's just like having a loved one who does drugs. You can love that loved one, but you don't have to like their drug use. People say, oh, you're contradicting yourself when you say you like homosexuals, but you don't like homosexuality. Well, think about it. The state of New Jersey, they punished the Methodists by revoking the center's tax-exempt status. And this was a vindictive attack on the Methodist religious liberty. It seems like the same people who are willing to put up a fight for their own liberty can and do subsequently deprive others of their liberty. Just like you have the right to be gay, I have the right to voice my opinion about it. In Massachusetts, where judges imposed gay marriage years ago, Catholic charities was ordered to accept homosexual couples as candidates for adoption. Rather than comply with an order that would be harmful to children, Catholic charities closed down its adoption program. California public schools have been told that they must become gay-friendly, and that includes a curriculum that teaches children that homosexuality is a valid lifestyle. Even speaking out about homosexuality can get you fired. Crystal Dixon, an associate vice president at the University of Toledo, was fired after writing an opinion piece in the Toledo Free Press in support of traditional marriage. She was fired for exercising her First Amendment rights. America has totally accepted the theory of Darwinian evolution, even though the actual science clearly shows that there was a creator. And this is something interesting, just to elaborate on this for a minute. Many people don't know that Darwin, towards the end of his life, on his deathbed, he actually denounced his theory and he asked God for forgiveness. Now, America is supposedly one nation under God, but the truth is that the United States has done everything they can to push God out of the classrooms. This is especially true in the science classrooms of America, where Darwinism is taught as an absolute truth without any room for debate, no matter what science might actually say. The truth is that science tells a whole different story than what our children are learning in the classroom. America brutally tortures the helpless prisoners it captures. The torture techniques that good America uses on prisoners includes hooding, stripping detainees naked, subjecting them to extreme heat, cold, noise, and light, and depriving them of sleep for up to 11 days. Now, I can tell you personally, I was an inmate for 10 years in a federal prison in Oregon, which was run by skinheads and KKK guards and authorities. And my first week there, my whole front teeth got knocked out. They were kicked out by a guard because I wouldn't perform a sexual act on her. During my time there, and I've never spoke about that, but I have spoke about how I got my muscular dystrophy condition because I spent so much time in the hole that I was unable to stand up for 30 to 90 days at a time. I'm 5'8.5", and I was put in a solitary confinement that was 5'5". The ceiling only went to 5'5", so I couldn't stand upright for the whole time that I was in these solitary confinements. And I came home to a muscular condition, which I blame on them, but I can't prove it. I also couldn't prove that the guard did what she did because she had another inmate lie and say that she had done it. And I wasn't going to persecute the person who was innocent, despite the ugliness of the whole situation. So, this is something that, these American authorities, they often expand into more vicious forms of extreme torture. I cannot tell you how many prisoners have died at the hands of guards. Vicious beatings, sexual degradation, sodomy, near drowning, and near asphyxiation. And both Republicans and Democrats Christians and non-Christians approve of the sadistic torture of helpless prisoners, because you are indeed helpless. When you're in the hands of the system, you have no rights. Your rights left the minute you were incarcerated. America is fighting wars with immoral, depleted uranium weapons. Did you even know that America is using nuclear waste to fight all of these wars? This is what happens to babies whose mothers are exposed to depleted uranium. And if you don't know about the horrors of depleted uranium, then you need to find out about how the U.S. is using these weapons that are not only turning Iraq and Afghanistan into uninhabitable hellholes, but are also slowly killing and nuking our own troops. America's national debt is now over $10 trillion. Once upon a time, the United States was the biggest creditor in the world, but those days are long gone. Now America is the biggest debtor nation to ever exist. America was once the richest nation in the world, but that's not nearly enough, because Americans have always had to have a bigger car, a bigger house, and endless supply of stuff. So the government piled up debt, America's companies gorged on debt, and Americans made using credit cards into a national pastime. Spending our own money obviously wasn't enough. So what did? We spent the money of our children and of our grandchildren and of their children. And now the national debt is well over $10 trillion. There are people who are heartless enough to open credit in the names of their kids. Give the kids a chance to have a life. How dare you? And if you include the future liabilities that our government has committed to, such as future Social Security and Medicare payments, then the total is over $60 trillion. Now that many of our jobs have gone overseas, the price of gasoline is shooting through the roof and people are losing their homes. Do we find that Americans are learning their lesson? No. Instead, we are squeezing everything we can out of plastic. Total credit card debt in America has reached almost $1 trillion, and it is increasing at a rate 4 times faster than the earlier decade. Instead of showing restraint, Americans have actually jammed the accelerator to the floor. So we're going full speed into debt, and prices are increasing dramatically while wages are remaining flat or even decreasing. Some of you, instead of getting a raise, you actually got a decrease. Jobs are being outsourced and factories are being closed at a staggering pace. Our largest banks and financial institutions are teetering on the brink of failure. Homes are being foreclosed at record rates, and personal bankruptcy recently hit an all-time high. Child abuse, especially child sexual abuse, has become a national epidemic in America. It is estimated that there are over 60 million survivors of childhood sexual abuse in America today, and I unfortunately am in that number. Approximately 95% of all teenage prostitutes have been abused sexually. Of all American prisoners convicted of rape and sexual assault, 2/3 of them victimized children. And the reported cases of child and sexual abuse has increased 322% from 1980 to 1990. The truth is that tourists from the United States and Europe are a big part of the reason why human trafficking and child sex slavery is exploding around the world. Human trafficking has indeed gone mad. Divorce is at record levels in the United States. This is not anything new. People are always seeking the grass on the other side of the fence because it looks greener. And the percentage of married people who reach their 50th anniversary in America is 5%. And only 63% of American children grow up with both biological parents. If we're so advanced, why can't we stay married? Greed in the U.S. is stunning. 1 billion people in the world go to bed without food every night. Every 3.6 seconds, someone starves to death, and 3/4 are children under the age of 15. More than 2.8 billion people, which is close to half of the world's population, live on less than the equivalent of $2 a day. And more than 1.2 billion people, or about 20% of the world population, live on less than the equivalent of $1 a day. A lot of people don't have access to safe water. Many children under the age of 5 suffer from malnutrition. You know, it's painful just going through this list. The truth is that greed of the advanced nations is leading us to a food crisis of horrific proportions. The assets of the world's 3 richest men exceed the combined gross domestic product of the world's 48 poorest countries. Adultery and fornication, which contributes, I'm sure, to the divorce rate, are practically the national sports of America, and this has resulted in an explosion of STDs. Venereal disease. 1 out of every 4 teen girls now has an STD, and more than 25% of these teens are residents of New York City, and they have herpes. And I'm in New York, and people wonder why I'm celibate. Murder is so common in the United States that it is a joke to the rest of the world. The murder rate in the United States is among the highest of developed countries. False religions are exploding in America at a rate that is mind-blowing. False religion is spreading like the plague, and one big example of this is Oprah Winfrey's new obsession with religion. And I'll just quote something that she says. Imagine a religion, quote, imagine a religion where Jesus did not come to die on the cross, where there is no heaven, no hell, no sin, no salvation, no doctrine, where all spiritual paths in the world are equally valid, and where God is in you and everything else you see. That is the religion of Oprah, and she's also a big follower of The Secret and all these other New Age religions, although she has had a lot of prosperity preachers on her shows lately. The U.S. is leading the destruction of the environment. Most people do not even realize that the reckless polluting has turned the Pacific Ocean into the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is a plastic soup of trash, plastic, garbage, and human waste. And it's an area that's about twice the size of the continental United States that stretches from Hawaii to Japan. More Americans than ever before have rejected God. And even those who still practice Christianity don't even understand the basics of the Christian faith anymore. There was a survey done that showed Americans rapidly leaving the churches and rejecting Christianity. And they showed people that still call themselves Christians, but they rejected traditional Christian beliefs. I'm going to stop here. I don't have the answers. It's sometimes when things get the darkest that it allows the light to shine the brightest. And judgment is coming to America. It's coming to the earth, but it's coming to America for sure. God will be working powerfully in these last days and time. I thank you. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you. And I look forward, as always, to your comments.